Okay, I am super duper excited to share some of the new features that we have. So we've been listening a lot to what people had to say about how to make the experience better. So what we're gonna do is just jump right in. If you're watching this live or watching the recording, we wanna show you some new features that I think are gonna be really, really, really exciting and useful for you. Okay, so let me share my screen and let's go into the first one. Oh. Okay, great. Now, Nan, you're doing a webinar. Maybe you're going to be doing a recorded webinar. Maybe that webinar is going to live somewhere in perpetuity. So if you're doing a Facebook Live, a LinkedIn Live, a webinar that's going to be recorded where you're going to ask for feedback, one of the, hold on, just for my sanity, is my reception spotty? Because it's spotty on my side. Golly, I've been absolutely fine with my internet all day. And now now I'm super, okay. Am I better? Am I better? Still bad? Jeez Louise. Hold on. I don't know why my internet. Dang it. Hold on. Can you hear me without it skipping? This is so
Yeah,
anticlimactic. Okay, here we go.
audio
I'm
is not
building up
affected right
drama.
now.
Okay, I'm building up drama here. Okay, so if you're doing your webinar as an example, Nan, here, and you're like, but I want to still get feedback on this particular presentation after I've put my Talkadot up, what do I do? So now you can what's called lock your code. So here's how it works. So this is a dummy account that I have here. So you would click on your account and go to edit event, okay? And when you go to edit event, this window will pop up. Can everyone, just for my sanity, thumbs up? Can you see my pop-up window, the white window here? Okay, great. You'll see this part called advanced settings. All you gotta do is hit that drop-down arrow, and now you have the ability to lock a code. So here's what that means. Let's say the code that you're going to use, Nan, is going to be, let's just choose one from my list, list, okay? Now, this is the most important thing to get. Once you choose list, put it into this lock code and hit save changes. In perpetuity, whenever someone uses the code list, all of that data will only go to this report right here. So this is how you can use this for recorded webinars, LinkedIn Lives, where it's going to be asynchronously people watching it. Now, the reason why it's important to note this is because if you use the code list and you lock it, and then you use the code list for another presentation in person, all that data is still going to go to the one that you locked it for. So if you know you're doing a certain presentation, just create a new code for that talk, lock it for that talk, and then 5 years from now, 5 months from now, 5 weeks from now, 5 days from now, if people watch it and data comes in, you'll get an updated score on what everyone is saying about that one particular talk. So this is a cool feature for you to use for any recorded webinars or anything that might live on past the in-person or in the moment presentation that you're doing. So again, the way you access it is you click here, hit edit event, and you are locked and good to go. Any questions about that? Okay, cool. So we encourage you, if you have webinars or if you're doing virtual talks and you want to get feedback, make sure to lock it and you're good to go. Jasmine, what's up?
Hey, so what if we had events on the same day with that lock feature? Would it prevent it if the code is different? It would prevent the other one from going into
No, if it's
the
a
locked
different
one?
code, so like if you have 3 talks on the same day and you use, in my case, list for all 3 of those talks, they'll only go into one report. But if you use list and then cool and then prize, they'll still get separated even if it's on the same day with no issue. So it's just that code will lock all of the one presentation. Pokin, anything you want to add on that I may have missed?
No, you were just locked up for a second, but I think your audio caught up.
Okay. Oh Lord, I was fine all day. I swear, I didn't have one internet problem all day. Okay, so that's the first feature that we're excited to tell you. Now, the second feature, which has been something that lots of folks have been asking us about, is lead capture. Maybe you're speaking to a bunch of middle school students or high school students or college students, and there's no one in the audience that can book you to speak. So it may not be appropriate to ask, do you book speakers? Would you like to book me? Can I have your contact information? Or maybe you're speaking at a corporate event where they have a clear, we don't want you to do that. So for any reason that you're speaking at an event where you just want the data and the feedback and not the lead capture, here's how you do that. So if you go to your offer codes and click add another Talkadot offer, when you click that, you'll notice that you have this top part that's kind of in white and this bottom part here that's in gray. This lead gen feature here, if you just click that off, it'll now shut off the lead gen portion of it. So the key thing to remember is whatever is the thing you're giving away, I'm just gonna add a fake website, and I think I spelled my name wrong, so that should be fun, but it's just for illustrative purposes here. So thing, oopsie. Oh Lord, my internet is, this is not the thing. This is not the internet that I wanted. This is the internet that I've been given. Okay, so thing here, and then I turn off lead gen. What's cool about that is only for that code is your lead gen turned off. So the reason why that's really important is because let's say you want to do a presentation and you do want to capture leads, but you want to do a presentation and not capture leads. As long as you choose this code and turn it off, anytime you use the offer code thing, you won't capture leads. So you can do that once, hit create offer, then this is created here, and then on your account, you'll see this red thing with the line slash through it. This is letting you know as a symbol that anytime you use the word thing, the code thing, no lead capture will happen. So again, this is really beneficial if you're doing any student presentations or any corporate presentations where collecting contact information may be sensitive. You can turn that off for each one of your individual offers, and that will allow you to use it really in any case, whether you're doing lead gen or not lead gen. You don't have to worry about accidentally asking people who you don't need it, or not using Talkadot because you don't want to capture people as lead gen because they just don't fit that criteria. Cool. Any questions about that? For those of you who just joined us, you now can turn off your lead gen or turn on your, so capturing, do they book leads or not? You can turn that on or off within your code description, which is really, really cool. Now, this is another feature we are very, very, very excited about. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a drum roll. Can I get a virtual drum roll on this one, please? Just feel free. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate the way you make your magic fingers go. So one of the questions that we have gotten many times is on your survey, right? So when you do your survey flow, we ask 5 questions that event planners typically look for: inspiring, engaging, relevant. And some of us do speaking engagements that maybe those questions don't perfectly fit or describe you. So what can you do about that? Well, now what you can do is do custom questions, and you can customize the attributes for your 1 to 5 emoji questions. So what does that look like? So let's say you're doing a talk and you put in your information here for just this code. Actually, let me put this one up so I don't have to retype anything. All right. So now here, the first question would be on a, how would you rate Nan's talk for how inspiring it is? But what if Nan's like, I don't really do inspirational talks. I do different kinds of talks. Well, if you just click on the word inspiring, you now have a drop-down option of different ways that people can rate you. So let's say she wants to do entertaining instead of inspiring. And instead of relevant, she wants fun. And instead of actionable, she wants dynamic. She now can change these questions. And then when you actually go ahead and do the Talkadot survey, it can be custom to your specific needs. Now, we've heard things from certain speakers like, hey, listen, inspiring is a great thing, but I don't do inspiring talks. I do hard hitting talks. Or interactive is a fine thing, but I'm not an interactive speaker. I'm a keynote speaker that doesn't do it. You now have the ability to make it so that it's more like yours. So let me show you what this looks like in real time. So if you type in here and then type in whatever is your email address, okay, you hit let's go, you'll notice that after you hit yes, the questions have changed. So instead of saying inspiring, now it says educational, now it says practical, engaging, fun, entertaining. So now those Likert questions, those 1 to 5 scale questions, they can be what you want them to be if you're doing something that's not inspiring or engaging. So you can make it more specific, and then your reports will surface your data in the same way as you've seen it before, but it's ranking you on the things that you want to be ranked by. So we're super excited about that feature. We know that that's been something lots of folks have been wanting and requesting. So that feature is now live on all of your accounts if you have a pro account. So if you have a free account, you get our basic baked in questions. And if you have a pro account, you can customize those questions there as much as you like. And of course, you can add that additional customized qualitative questions as well. So love to pause there. Dan has a question. Are those words fixed? No other alternative words, just a drop down. Great question, Dan. Great question. So one of the things that we want to hear from you is if there's a question that, if there's a word that's very important to you, we want you to email us and say, hey, we want it. What we don't want to have happen is folks have 75 different words to choose from, and a lot of the words maybe are repetitive. And then I don't know if you've ever been to the ice cream store and it's got 700 flavors and you're like, which flavor should I get? And it's very, very challenging and you're not sure what to do. But if it was just strawberry, chocolate, vanilla, it'd be an easier decision. So if there's any words that are not surfaced, let us know so that we can see how we can slot that in and make that work for you. And maybe we make it universal for all folks. So if we haven't hit anything that you want, let us know. We did a survey to all the users and asked them which words were most important to them. So if you responded to that survey, thank you. And those are the ones that we surfaced up in here. So yeah, does that answer your question, Dan? I think Dan Diamond has his hand up. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, buddy. I think one of my questions is a lot of times I'm doing keynotes and then doing workshops. Yeah. And sometimes the workshops are full day workshops.
Yeah.
And then the word, hearing a future session by Talkadot or hearing a future session by Dan Diamond, the wording isn't quite right. So how interested am I in a future experience with Dan Diamond might fit what I'm doing better than just hearing a future, because it's not just hearing, it's doing when we're doing workshops.
When you say the difference between session and experience, help me understand that difference. So I don't know if I'm grasping what the difference between those two words are.
You'll see it when you come out to Seattle for WSAE, buddy. You and I are on the same stage. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, I can't wait to share the stage with you.
So if I'm doing, like, I've got an event coming up in a couple of weeks, it's going to be a 2-day workshop.
Yes.
I'll be telling stories, but they're going to be in small groups, having conversations, creating stuff, doing presentations. Yeah. I really would love to be able to capture feedback from that to show to other meeting planners to say, this workshop was an amazing 2-day experience. Yep. It's different than a session that fits in a.
So if you're doing a 2-day workshop, you're only doing feedback at the end of the total day, or are you doing it throughout the day for different parts of it? I just want to make sure I fully grasp it.
Sometimes at the end of the first day and then again at the end of the second day.
Okay, got it. So you want something that covers all of it. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Okay. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't break it out during each session.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you giving me that feedback. We'll take note of that and see what's the best way to handle that.
Yeah, if there's some way to just tweak that wording on questions like this so I could go beyond a session, that'd be super helpful. Thanks, buddy.
Cool. I appreciate that, Dan. Thank you for that feedback. Cool. Any other questions about the customization of the Likert scale? I'm just going to bring it back up because if you did, there we go. So if you did your generic code, you'll notice that these questions are actionable, engaging, interactive, inspiring, and relevant. So you now have the ability to change those questions and have them change on the reports. So if you have any questions about that, let me know, because we got one more that I want to share with you, which I'm probably most excited about. But I don't want to go to the big reveal before we do that. So let me see if there's anything else coming up. But wait, there is more, Dan. There is more, Dan. Okay. Let me show it. Actually, no, hold on. No, before I do the big one, I'm going to do one little one, one tiny little one, because this is something we've been going back and forth with, and we need your feedback. So I'm going to do a poll real quick. I'm going to do a little one. Let me pull up, and then I'm going to do the big one, which I'm actually really excited about. Okay, so after you do one of your presentations, what we now surface for each one of your talks is your reattend rate, your rating, your responses, and then this section right here that says leads. Okay. Now, what we've been trying to figure out is what's more helpful for you as a presenter. Is it more helpful that we say, hey, let's say you spoke to 500 people and you captured 500 email addresses. So these are the total amount of people that opted in. Would it be more helpful to say, hey, 500 people gave you their email address and that's a lead? Would it be more helpful if people who just said they are booking speakers said, hey, I book speakers, I want to book Dan, here's my contact information? Is that what you'd want to see? Or would you want to see booking and referral? So referral is people who say, I can introduce you to somebody. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to launch a poll real quick. So you should see a white screen pop up. Let us know on this speaker grid. So you imagine you just gave a talk and you want to see the quick stats on how you did. Would you want to see booking leads only, booking and referral leads? Or would you rather see the total number of booking, referral, and email opt-ins as well? So again, I want you to think more about what information would be most valuable, most effective for you to see. So if you had like 500 email contacts and 10 booking leads and 15 referral leads, you'd either see the number 10 show up here if it's just booking. 10 plus 15 is 25. You would see 25 show up right here if it was booking and referral. And if it was all 500, you would see the number 500 show up here. So we're just curious. We'll give it another 30 seconds for you to answer so everyone can have their voice heard. And then I'll do the actual big reveal. This is quick. Simple. It's just something I was curious about. All right. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ending poll. Okay. So the results show that 80% want to see the booking and the referral right there. So Dan, just so you're clear, we're not going to remove it from the My Lead section. It'll still stay there. This is just a quicker way for you to access at a quick snapshot. Hey, I just did this one talk. How did I do? So I saw your comment coming in, but we're not gonna do that. All right, cool. So thank you for your feedback. Super helpful. Okay, now for the big reveal. Okay, this is the big reveal. There we go. Let me pull this up. So let's say I'm Dan Fail. I've been crushing it. I've been doing tons of presentations. And I want to share with people how effective I am as a speaker. Right now, for you to share your reports, you have to share individual reports. So you might say, here's the last 5 presentations that I've done. But now what you'll be able to do is have, wait for it, Dan. I'm just using Dan as a reference point right now, but this is for everybody. Let it build. Let it
Since
build.
there's 2 of us.
There's 2 Dans. I'm talking to you 2, Dan Diamond. We now have a Talkadot profile for you. So here's what the profile means, okay? You now can share one link, and this one link will have an aggregate of all of your scores, okay? So here's how I want you to understand how to use this, and here's why I think this is pretty cool. So when I share this public link, it'll show you how many people I've spoken to, how many people have found my talk valuable, how many people want to re-attend my presentations, and what percentage of my talks are virtual versus in person. And then it gives my top 5 attributes here. So my overall score out of all 2,366 people, there's my engaging score, my interactive score, my inspiring score, my actionable score, and my relevant score. Now, if anybody wants a deep dive and you say, hey, check any one of my reports, you can share any of them, you can now share this and they can see any presentation that you've done. So they can click in and say, hey, I want to see what these people have to say about Arel. Or I want to see what these people have to say about, I don't know, maybe you want to go to like the Big I, Michigan and say, okay, what did those folks have to say about Arel? So you can share this one link with people and it'll give a total aggregate of everything that you've done and the impact that you've had as a speaker. And then it gives people the ability to deep dive into a specific talk. Now, one of the ways that I see us using this and how I've already used this is if I'm reaching out to a specific client or I'm having a conversation with someone, I can still share individual reports with them. But if I want to say, hey, check out what everyone had to say about Arel, boom, here it is. It's like my Yelp review page or my Trustpilot page. It's right. It's like I've got everything right here in one place. So you can put this in your email signature and see what other people have to say about you. You can put this in your email campaigns. You can share this with people. Right now, the way that we are surfacing them, right, is if you have at least 20 responses. Okay. Now we're open to feedback on that one. So we'll talk about this later as well. What we want to do is roll this out perfectly. And the only way we can roll this out perfectly is getting input from folks like you. So this feature right now is not fully live just yet, okay? So the reason why it's not fully live just yet is because we want to get your input. So for example, if I'm Jasmine and I'd like to be involved in this, we're gonna ask you at the end of this in a few moments, well, we'll take some questions and then a little bit, we're gonna ask you to take a feedback, Talkadot, of course. And if you would like for your account to have a profile feature, let us know and we'll turn that feature on for you. Okay, so this is not a feature rolled out to everyone. This is an invite only thing. So if you'd like to have that feature turned on, you'd be able to have your own public profile, and then you can let us know, I want this, I don't want this, I like this, I don't like this. We want to make sure we do this correctly, but we also want you to unlock the power of getting to share your data updated in real time with the people who need it. So I'd love to have a discussion about the profile. I think I see a question. Okay, so Dan says, can you select which reports are viewable or is it all of them? So right now we're viewing all reports that are at least 20 responses. We're thinking about changing that because if you have a report with like 2 responses, you probably, that might have been a test account or a test or a stray thing. So we wanted to set some limit that allowed for that to happen, but happy to dive more deep into that and make the changes that you think are helpful. Kelly says, can you share that without showing all of your prior speaking engagement links? So if you want to share just this top part, I would encourage you to take a screenshot of it and share that. If you share this link, it will also give all of your presentations as well, so people can dive in and see where all of these numbers came from. Question I have for you, Kelly, you asked that question, can you share that without showing your prior? Is there any reason why you don't want to share your prior speaking engagements that might be important for us to know?
Can I just come off mute?
Yeah, that'd be way easier. Yeah.
Okay. No, just thinking like, if you just want to give like that overview as opposed to, people go down rabbit holes and start clicking on links and doing all this stuff. If you just want to give them this snapshot, and I get what you're saying about doing a screenshot, but I was just thinking that having this overview up to the attributes is probably really, a good thing. Like if you're pitching, as opposed to necessarily taking somebody down the rabbit hole with all the other links.
Would sharing an image of it versus the link have a functional difference in what you're thinking about?
No, I think an image would be good.
Okay, so turning that into an image that you can share.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's something that we're working on. So one of the things that we
Okay.
want to have is the same way on your profile or your speaker report, you can do a social media shareable image. We want to be able to take this and say, like, here's my overall feedback that you can share as well. So you can
Yeah, I think that
upload
would
that.
be great.
Yeah. Super helpful. Super helpful. Thank you for that. Okay, cool.
That image doesn't fit, Arel, if you want to include the top attributes and the Talkadot logo.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is turn this into a social media shareable friendly image. So you'll have a link. Right now it doesn't exist, but you'll be able to have that link and turn it into it. Right now you would have to do a screenshot and then like, shrink it or make it work or whatever. But for now, our main goal is to have the functionality of this down and the visual of this down for what your needs are. And then once that's locked in, be able to turn into that social shareable image for you as well. Cool. Jasmine said, what's the projected rollout for this once you have feedback? I'm sharing this tool tomorrow with my community. This is a huge highlight. So Jasmine, if you'd like, we can whitelist your account and turn it on so you can start using it and showcasing it today, if you'd so want to. So what we'd love to do is have people say, yes, I'd want to use this. And we want you to use this knowing that we are building it so that when we roll it out to everyone, it's as good as it possibly can be. And getting your feedback and how you'd like to use it and what's important to you is going to be super important to us. So if you'd like that, Jasmine, we can roll it out for you so you can showcase this and show it to your community. So happy to do that. Dan Fells, some of my audience, they're mandated to be there, so they're going to have a chip on their shoulder when giving feedback. Is there like a grant permission to view all options similar to Google Docs? Good question. We'll make a note of that. So Dan, help me understand that a little bit more.
Right. So like the thought is, well, and again, because the majority of my audiences tend to be mandated to be present. So so I have to like spend 30 minutes of just a keynote to earn their trust, much less impact them. So they're already like, so they tend to, when they scan the doc, they're like I was just looking and like 85%, so like a mandatory keynote on masculinity, because nothing says I can't wait to spend an afternoon and an evening learning about masculinity from this dude. So like 85% said they would reattend. Not a horrible percentage, but by far my lowest of the last year of using this. And so, right, like, is there a way to, again, just have this first screen like you have right here?
Yep.
As part of that, but then it's the so-and-so would like to view all of your higher ed documents or all of your higher ed engagements. And so you can like, kind of like requesting Google Doc access. You get an automated email saying, oh yeah, I will grant permission for someone to view all of my higher ed or all of my corporate.
So you want to basically split it by the audience. Is that right?
Or just and again, I don't even know what the final answer of that would be. I just know that like some of these audiences are gonna, I just remember myself as an undergrad and I would torpedo someone's just to be a smartass. And so I think I'm just trying to figure out so that it's not just anything and everything, because some of my stuff's so customizable that I'm not trying to offer that to someone else to like come back and be like, hey, I would really love this. So I'm just trying to think of ways to say like, yes, this person would like to view all of your higher ed engagements, grant permission. This person, so you've got this one screen, and then if I want to view other documents, they can like request viewing of it so that I also know who's viewing what.
Yeah. So I think
then that also gives me a little bit more to follow up of like, oh, Arel's coming in and he's like viewing all of my stuff. I'm going to send him an email. Hey, kind of like you said earlier in one of your trainings. Hey, I was just thinking about you. Right? Like,
Yeah, super helpful. So as we continue to do this rollout, understanding how to use that and how to make that universally applicable is going to be really, really important to us. So I think we might want to deep dive a little bit deeper in your particular use case. Maybe like spend some time with you and say, how do we make this ideally what you want? But this is super helpful feedback because we want this to be a tool that you're excited to share and helps you do it more easily. So any kind of feedback that helps us do that is really, really helpful. Cool. Jasmine and then Eric.
So as I was looking at this profile, I think it would be awesome. And I know that right now you're tweaking this to have a rollout, but it would be cool that I can have an option at some point in time where I can get demographic information, whether it be like role based or the type of organization that they have or business that they have, because I can see myself utilizing this for when I'm looking for corporate partners or sponsors for events, letting them know like these are the type of people that I typically teach or educate, and this is their response to the work that I'm doing. So I thought that that may be an awesome feature to possibly add for some of us who are educating in different ways.
Yeah, super, super helpful. So I can give you a way to do that now. That's not necessarily what's the word I'm looking for? It's not exactly built into our flow, but I think this might be helpful to you. So let me just pull up what I'm thinking about. Okay. 1 second. While the internet does what the internet do. Why are you not downloading? Hold on. Download. There we go. Okay. So, I'm going to make a presupposition here. How familiar are you with ChatGPT right now?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
You're familiar.
Or I don't know if you're asking me or everyone.
I was asking you. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you can do is just copy this information, right? Go to ChatGPT and say, or you can just download this file here and then just copy the title option or the organization and paste it into ChatGPT and say, what are the most common titles that show up in this list? Or you can, download the spreadsheet, copy all, and say, what are the most common titles? So that's a very not built into Talkadot, but accessible to you now, so you don't necessarily have to wait until we have that reporting. One of the things that we do definitely want to do, and we're really excited about in the future, is creating a more robust reporting option, so that within a click of a button, you can see how many this kinds of talks that you did, what months are your busiest talks, which talks are your most booked talks, which audiences do you speak to the most, when do you speak the most, who do you speak to the most, who are your biggest leads, so we want to be able to cut all that up for you. That's not something that we can do now as we continue to roll it out, but we would love to be able to get you that information so you can make more data-driven decisions within your own speaking business. So what I would say as a simplistic workaround is you can use the data that you have here in combination with something like a ChatGPT, and that would allow you to you can put in your dates here, so you can do a lot of that now within an AI tool like that. But eventually we do want to be able to build that functionality. I think there's a lot of uncharted territory right now, frankly speaking, within AI, and I think we are very excited about it, but it's a completely unregulated, ununderstood market. So we want to make sure that when we do that, we do it the correct way that has the biggest long-term benefit for you. So I would say for now, that would be your best solution to achieve the goal that you want to achieve.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Dan, I'll see you in June. Can't wait to see you. I will at best be the opening act for you. At best. Yeah. Cool. Eric, question.
Yeah, just maybe more of a thinking out loud than a question. Almost going back to what Dan was asking with the most recent talks, the public-facing most recent talks list. Just noting that you shared a new feature where you can flag an event as not really needing to ask about lead gen. Makes me think that maybe you could have a little flag that says hide this from my public list. And if there are a couple of talks where I'm I actually don't really want that in that list, if it just doesn't hide it, doesn't put it in that list, but still somehow gives me, the speaker, a public URL that only I know about that I can share with a lead where it's relevant. I'm just thinking of a way to kind of have my cake and eat it too, I guess. So yeah, a little toggle, some kind of toggle that kind of says, I don't want this to be in the public list, but I'd still like the public URL if I want to share it with somebody.
Is there any, and this is really helpful for us because getting this feedback out loud is really, really good as we continue. Like I said, we're trying to build this so it works. Can you help me understand in what case can you see yourself saying, don't show this one, or wanting to hide it? What is the problem you wish to solve by hiding it?
I don't have one. I don't know that I don't have a talk I would want to exclude from that off the top of my head. So just hearing Dan talk about his example, whether it was an off day or maybe there's like a particularly nuanced topic that the data is fantastic, but maybe you don't want to imply that you talk about it often. That's kind of some examples coming to mind. I just started to think as a developer because I've spent 20 years writing code. So I was like, oh, we could build something that does that. So I don't have a use case, but that's what kind of came to mind.
Yeah, and what I would love to do is if there's any cases where as your talks come up, or if you look at any of the talks in your current Talkadot list and you go, this is a perfect example of something I really don't want to show, let us know as well, because if we can understand what is better to have visible by default so that you don't have to think about it, if we can understand the context behind it, we can then build the system to kind of build in for that. Because in a perfect world, we want you to be doing as little thinking as possible. Not that you're not a very smart and intelligent group of human beings, but we want the system and the tool to just work and work for you. So if there is a talk that you can look through your list and go, this is a perfect example of something I wouldn't, and here's the reason why, boom, boom, boom. Or if you could say, hey, this talk just came in, I would not want this to show, and this is the reason why. If we can understand that, this will also help us as we build it out. So I would encourage everyone to give us that feedback consistently, because it's just going to be super helpful for us to know as well. Yeah, very cool. Awesome. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do let me pull this up. This will be fun. You'll all appreciate what we're about to do. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and then boom. Okay, cool. So if you can all do me the favor, and I'm going to put this in the chat. If you can click on that link or take out your phones, open your camera app and scan that QR code. I'd love for you to give us feedback on this particular session. You'll see in this particular survey flow for Talkadot that we have the custom questions put in. So we're kind of like using the custom questions. So I want you to see that. In addition to that, you'll see one of the questions is actually a testimonial request as well. If you've been using Talkadot and you love it, one of the things that we'd like to do is start showcasing some of our users on our website. So if you'd like to write a testimonial on your usage and be like, oh my gosh, I've been using it, here's what I love about it, here's specific benefits that I've gotten from it. We'd like to start showcasing individual speakers who are not me on the website. So if you'd like to write a written testimonial of your experience, put in your name and your website, and we'll be happy to put that information and link to you as well. So do that, fill that out. And also, do we just want to, if you want your Talkadot profile turned on, just put whitelist in the chat as you're doing this. I realize that I didn't ask you to do that, so now I'm giving you 2 calls to action at once, which is a cardinal sin. Do the survey first. Do the survey do the Talkadot flow first. Then we'll do that, because you never do 2 CTAs. So click on the link there, and when you're done taking that Talkadot flow, just put done in the chat. We'll give you a couple of minutes to do just that. And then I will ask the other requests, so we don't have 2 requests at the same time. And Ovidilio, language is something that we've gotten requests for. Right now, we don't have a Spanish speaking one. That is something that eventually we want to be able to support multiple languages. That is on the roadmap, but until we really dial in the functionality, we want to layer that on top of the functionality being dialed in. So that will be happening. It's just not happening in the near future. But making it so that it's globally accessible and accessible to people with all languages and all different abilities is something that is going to be very important to us as we dial in our tool. That's okay. You could put your testimony on the wrong box. We still can grab it, Jasmine. It'll all show up in our report.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
I had a colleague, I wind up sharing Talkadot with like my business mastermind. And so one of them was able to put it into practice this past weekend. There was about 300 people in attendance. So far she has like 140 surveys, but she said she wasn't sure if it was too many individuals, if it was like an internet issue, but people were putting in the actual code and it wasn't following through, and she didn't know if it was too many people all at once trying to do
No,
it.
there shouldn't be a bandwidth issue whatsoever.
Okay.
So it could be 1,000 people can put in the code at the same time.
Okay.
And that shouldn't be a challenge. Was it that when they put the code in, it didn't advance to the
Yeah,
next
it
slide?
didn't advance at all. Yep. And then so she only had one survey at that time. And she said that people were still trying after, and then what happened was because they were putting it in after, it started making new experiences versus the one that it was supposed to be for, which was the main one
Yep.
that she gave. So
And
that
she
was her
can
remark.
combine those. Is she aware of
Okay.
that feature?
Yes, I did tell her that.
Okay, yeah. So like knowing that they came in, so she can still select them and merge them so that it's all in one report. But if you could message me her name, or if you know her email address, we can look into the back end, because there shouldn't. This is the first time that I've heard of it not advancing. And if that's something that was maybe whatever it might be, we want to look into it.
Okay.
But yeah, if you could, again, feel free to DM me or shoot an email to hello@talkadot.com saying it was this person who had the issue. We can maybe look in to see if there's anything that looks abnormal on the back end for their particular account.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, so keep filling out that. I'm going to answer Dan's question about his random thoughts. So what we wanted to do was give the option for people to say whatever else they might like to say, without forcing them to say something that's negative. Sometimes when you ask for something that's negative, people will search in their mind and give it to you. So anything else you'd like them to know is the place for people to put areas of improvement or feedback. If you've had anyone say, like, I don't understand that question, please let us know. If that's more of a personal, like, I don't know if I personally like that question, also let us know, because our goal is to figure out how to make that as universally as useful as possible. Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you, Dan. You do have 2 sections to pull from. That is true. All right, keep taking the Talkadot flow here and give us your feedback. Put done in the chat when you are done, and then we will open it up to your Q&A. And oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. If you put in the code email when you take this particular flow, I just created a email follow-up sequence for you. So if you'd like to see an email follow-up sequence that you can use for leads or outreach, that's something that might be helpful for you. So that's just a little something to say thank you for taking it. All right, great. Great. Okay, so do me a favor in the chat. I think Jasmine already did it. If you already had done and you'd like to try out the profile and you'd like to get us your feedback on it, we'd love to get your feedback on it. So go ahead and put whitelist in the chat, and we're gonna save the chat and then reach out to you, and we will turn your profile on. We'll give you a URL to your profile. So if you want to share that with anyone, you now have the ability to do so. And again, this is a feature that is not available to everyone. It's a feature just available to the folks that actively ask for it and turn it on, or we invite to turn it on. So since you're here, you're all getting that invitation. So we'll make sure. So if you want to get the public profile, to use it, to share it, to post it, just write whitelist in the comments. We'll know that we will whitelist your profile so that it is active and you can start using it. Awesome. And as you continue to write, keep writing. And I'm going to open it up for just general comments, questions, concerns, how abouts, yeah buts. If you have any celebrations or victories, this is kind of open space in the last 10 minutes for you to say anything about the tool, anything you saw today. It's pretty much an open canvas for you at this point. So I'll pause here and see what you have to say.
I'll just pop in and say I love seeing products progress, and this has been great. I'm excited to just see what y'all have been cooking up. So the hype checked out.
Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's something that we're going to continue to develop. We will be shooting out this recording. So if anyone didn't see the beginning announcements and the new features that we added, we're going to send a recap email of all the new features and how to access them and access to this link. So definitely check it out. And yeah, it's a fun process. Honestly, it's like constantly a discovery of how do you make it just a little bit better, a little bit better. And then one day, I have this vision that people will come into our site and they're going to say, y'all thought of everything. There's not one thing that I want to do that I can't. Thank you, Talkadot. But you know what people will do? Because we have humans. They're going to be like, but can it do my taxes though? Can it make me buttered popcorn? How come Talkadot is against buttered popcorn? How come you don't have a feature to turn on hot fresh buttered popcorn from my laptop? And I'm gonna be like, listen, we can't do everything, y'all. We have a very specific vertical. Our vertical's real narrow. This is what we're trying to better. Okay. But hopefully we can get to the point where we throw anything. And the only way we can get there is your feedback. I cannot stress this enough. We are inherently a data and feedback based organization. So you letting us know about things you would wish it would do. We will strive to make it a little bit better, a little bit better, and a little bit better, and make you do less, less, less. Our goal is to help you get to the point where you can do as little as you need to in between your speaking engagements. So you can just get those speaking engagements, deliver those talks, and do that part that you love. And if we can help make it easier for people to say yes to you and minimize that effort, that's a huge, huge, huge vision and goal of ours. So anything that you have, even if it's a dream scenario, even if it's something we can't do right now, like the languages is very important to us. But as we continue to dial everything in, we'll be able to roll out that language, which is it's a robust feature add that we can do. By the time we get there, it'll be mwah. So we thank you all for bearing with us and being OGs. You know, I want you to think about people who are on Facebook like in the first year. You know, there's something special about that, to be like, I was Mark Zuckerberg's friend in college and he friended me on his Facebook thing, and I thought this thing's not going to go anywhere. Not that I'm comparing to Talkadot to Facebook, you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, you get what I'm saying. I appreciate y'all being a part of the journey. Okay, let me stop talking. I'm just getting all sentimental here. All right. Any other questions, comments? How about, yeah, what? Dan, we can't keep the IRS out of your bank account. That is what they do. They are relentless. They are relentless. Yeah. Sorry, man.
This is great. Thank you so much for all of the time that you take to do this, and also for the videos. They're very helpful. So we appreciate the Talkadot team.
Awesome. And Jasmine, who is the community you're sharing it with, just so I can be aware, so I can be like, yay, we're getting shared in this community.
So I am a part of a mastermind called TSB Mastermind, and we have a B2B sales call. So I shared that. Several people have used it. One of them was speaking at our mastermind event, and she used it on the stage. And then tomorrow I'm speaking in front of my community with it.
Awesome. Well, let us know. We actually we get so geeked out when we hear feedback and thoughts of how people are using it. So let us know how that goes, and let us know how things are rocking out. And yeah, I can't wait to be a part of what you're doing with NSA, of course, Dan. So we're excited, and we will hopefully have some cool announcements coming up. So we have oh my gosh, when is the AI training? Oh, hold on, let me pull my calendar up. Unless Mike, you can beat me to it. Hold on. So mark your calendars if you haven't for April 19th, April 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So April 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay. If you have accepted our calendar link, you should have that in your calendar. We're going to be doing a really cool training on Chat GPT, AI, and Talkadot. So things like you were saying, Jasmine, how do we, find out? There's going to be so many cool things. What are the top 5 things that my audience is saying about me? What are the areas I need to improve upon? How do I turn this into marketing materials and email campaigns and all these cool things that you may not be thinking about, that once you have individualized data that's just for you, it opens up all of these really, really cool features that ChatGPT and other AI tools can help you with. So we're going to be discussing that and helping you kind of up level your outreach game, your how you support your customers to give them a wow experience. So check that out. That's open to all of the Talkadot members free of charge, just for being a part of our awesome organization. And then if you want to mark your calendars for May 2nd and June 5th, okay? May 2nd and June 5th, those are going to be our next town halls. We have some more updates that we are vigorously working on every single day. So we're going to do our next announcement on May 2nd, and our next announcement after that on June 5th. So make sure that you are marking that in your calendar. If you already have accepted our calendar invitation, it should show up. Just hit yes that you can attend, and we'll make sure to get you on that. Those are ones that are going to be really, really cool, and I can't wait to see the progress that we make between now and then on your behalf. So the next time we're all going to collectively get together is April 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern, and I can't wait to see you on our next sessions. So if you have any questions or anything like that, I'll stick around because we technically have 5 more minutes. So I will stick around. If y'all just want to stare at me and I stare at you, I'm comfortable with holding this space. I can namaste it for at least 4 minutes with no issue whatsoever. If you got to jump or you are done, you can go, of course. But thank you so much for being part of our Talkadot Town Hall. Look out for more updates. Look out for more emails from us on our constant feature releases and updates, because without you, we can't make this tool as perfect as we humanly possibly can. So we're grateful for you, and we want to make this work every day. So all the grind and all the work is for you and making it as best we can for you. So thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you, of course, to Pokin and to Mike, who's with us, who make all of this happen on the back end and on the front end as well. They kind of do it all. So grateful to have an incredible team, and so grateful for all of you. So I'm going to sit here and namaste it for like 4 minutes. Hold it.